Hey, I know I shouldn't be reading Frank Turek's Twitter feed, but honestly, it is an endless repository of all the things that I find objectionable about evangelicalism. So I read this tweet this morning. He says here, Jesus didn't cancel people, he canceled our debts, the eternal consequences of our sin. This is presumably intended as a sideswipe at liberals, left wingers, or whoever Frank is thinking about who cancel people. He thinks it's wrong to cancel people. Jesus didn't cancel people, so we shouldn't cancel people. This is makes me want to pull my hair out because there's nobody that is better at canceling people than evangelicals. There is no other group in society I would submit that cancels people with the same intensity, ferocity, and relish as American evangelicals. Let me just give you one tiny little example. Back in July 2017, the beloved evangelical teacher and leader Eugene Peterson, he had achieved royalty within evangelicalism for decades of tireless service, as he would have put it, a long obedience in the same direction. And really, the cherry on the top of it all was the message translation, which, yeah, some fundamentalists didn't like the message, but many people came to love the message throughout the 1990s and onward. So Eugene Peterson was pretty close to evangelical royalty. And I actually heard him lecture when I went to Regent College. Very impactful person. But he made a fateful mistake in July 2017 at the age of 84. He made a comment in support of gay marriage. Within 24 hours, uh, the blowback from evangelicalism was unparalleled. Here's one example. Lifeway Books, which is this Southern Baptist book chain in the United States, immediately, within 24 hours, issued a press release that they would be removing all of Eugene Peterson books from the shelves, including the message they would no longer sell any of these books. That is one example of the ferocious response from evangelical institutions and leaders and churches, all directed at Eugene Peterson, this frail 84-year-old man who did not have any idea what kind of hornet's nest he was stirring up by making a single statement in support of gay marriage. Within 24 hours, Eugene Peterson buckled and he issued a new statement that no, in fact, he supports the traditional definition of marriage. So he learned very quickly how to respond to the ferocious blowback and cancellation that comes from the evangelical subculture. But that wasn't enough. Within a few days, Al Mohler published this article, The Agonizing Ordeal of Eugene Peterson. You might be next. This is what Mohler says at the beginning. Was he against it before he was for it? Is he really against it now? The ordeal experienced last week by popular author Eugene Peterson was agonizing to observe, largely self-inflicted and virtually inevitable. You should pay close attention to it, for you might very well be next. Well, from that point, Moeller talks about the whole Eugene Peterson fiasco, and he closes with 3 points, essentially saying, you better have your answer ready when we come and knock on your door and ask you whether you accept gay marriage. You better be ready to answer with a clear and credible answer. That's the advice from Al Mohler. It's a threat, and it perfectly encapsulates evangelical subculture, whether it's um, gay marriage, whether it's abortion, whether it's trans rights, whatever. There's a list of things that if you question any of these or step outside of the lines, color outside the lines on any of these issues, evangelicals are done with you. They will cancel you with greater ferocity and relish and intensity than you've ever seen before. So to conclude, when I see somebody like Frank Turek with a kind of self-importance saying, well, Jesus didn't cancel people, you shouldn't cancel people, the lack of awareness about his own community and himself and the way that they treat, otherwise terrorize people into conformity to maintain silence within their groups and to toe the party line, even when there are these deep questions fissures, and diversity of opinion, all of that is quashed by the threat of evangelical cancellation. This is the very opposite of what we call psychological safety. A psychologically safe community is a community in which you feel comfortable and safe sharing your true self, sharing questions, doubts, and divergent beliefs. Not so within evangelicalism. There's nobody that cancels you with greater intensity, ferocity, and relish than evangelicals.